Hello and welcome to KRSE Beyond the Ordinary Webcast Radio, where we visit once again the Half-Past Human Reality School, right here with your host Nancy Lena.
And that's with Clif, and that's halfpasthuman.com. Clif, you are actually at least 3/4 past human already.
Well, thanks, I guess.
You're going to have to change that website name.
Yeah, maybe so, yeah.
It's cool. Well, it's lovely to have you back.
Thank you very much.
And before we go talk about the doo-doo and gaga that's going on everywhere, I do want to tell our beautiful listeners, and they are, that as much as you say, no, don't get these Alta reports. Cool name, by the way. Love the sound and the look of that, Alta. But those reports which you so generously gave us a gift of are fantastic. You put everything together and reading them, and they are lengthy. My gosh, they are lengthy. The work you put in that is amazing, but it does put everything that you find and how clearly you explain it into such a huge, big context that is understandable. So I think those are invaluable.
Well, I thank you for that, but again, you could, having seen the reports, you could see where it would be difficult for some people to read those and maintain a positive outlook if they didn't have a nice personal underpinning. And also you could see where there would be people that would be not well served by them. Too much information and it goes against their flow, that sort of thing. That's why I advise people not to purchase them. Universe provides for us as we need. Not as we necessarily want, but you can. Having read them, I'm sure you would see that there would be different groups of potential purchasers who really their lives wouldn't be enhanced, and they should put the money elsewhere.
True, but you also provide within them, because of the way you do them, people that may not have that underpinning can start growing it.
It's possible. There is that big karmic burden when you mess around with foretelling the future here, and people that approach the whole idea of future forecasting casually kind of tick me off, because they need to recognize the responsibility that comes with the success in doing it. Because you could so easily start off these self-fulfilling loops and so on. And so we have to be very careful about what we say where. And I see a lot of people that are also engaged in this, remote viewers and others, that I think don't necessarily have an appreciation, at least towards, in my mind, to the deeper levels of responsibility that are involved. And this is why I constantly tell everybody, no, don't mess with it. It's, 90 or 100 pages over the course of a run, and do you really want to read that much bad news about the future? And probably most people don't.
But it's not all bad news.
No, that's true. We're starting to actually see that we're starting to see positive hints of positive change, although it's not necessarily in the near term. The seeds of them are certainly planted at this moment.
Well, also with a lot that is out there, it's words and maybe facts or even half facts, but there's no real intent, good intent or understanding that's putting that out. And so it has its own frequency. You have, and it's so evident, you probably don't see it. You're humble beautifully. But you probably do not see this, that there is such, to me, vast understanding and a beautiful frequency about you. There's compassion, there's everything that combines that. So in a way, we're reading those reports with that good old spoonful of sugar.
Oh, I try very diligently to not go to the darker side of it all and just dwell on that, yes. And that it's a lot of work to do the reports, there's no question. And adding that is an extra bit of effort, but I believe it's central to the point. There wouldn't be any point in just putting out the reports with the larger mass of the negatives that are involved. Because, of course, that's the nature of our processing. When we run through the data and we read hundreds of millions of bits and pieces of information off the Internet, the way in which our system is set up, it has a tendency at its core to naturally want to concentrate on extremes in language. And since there's very little in the way of extreme good language being expressed, in terms of change, we have a tendency to concentrate on the extremes and the negative. And we know it won't ever really work out as bad as it looks in the data. So to a certain extent, we have to go and scrub that and bring it up to something closer to reality.
With just the right touch of humor.
Yeah, you've got to have a sense of humor about it. Otherwise, it'd just be crushing, and we'd all be suffering despair all the time.
Well, that's part of, I think, or we know actually, that evolution of human beings is to be able to face things without it being bad or good. You know, it's not, what you're putting out is not, you could look at it as not bad news, it's news.
Potential, yeah, I do see the point, yeah.
Because if we want to know what the truth is, we have to be able to accept what information we get and know for ourselves whether it's valid or not. But if we get caught up in all the emotion of how awful it is and dark and everything, then we're not going to be able to evolve beyond it and reconcile it as it comes to our reality.
Or handle what's here and what we've all contributed to creating. So it's, yeah, right. We have to do that. But anyway, I just wanted to let our listeners know that it is valuable, and I have no karmic feelings about saying, yes, these reports are valuable, because I totally believe that we each have our own course to follow, and if we take wrong turns, okay.
Yeah.
But people do have a choice, and those that resonate with this will go and get them and not be bummed out.
Well, let's call it a must-read that's not for everybody.
There we go. There we go. If the universe moves you that way, there may be some reason. And as we say, get your meds adjusted, rethink it a few times, and then come and have a look at it. Yeah. But it's we do have some good information occasionally, and I do get very positive feedback from a number of the readers. Recently, we've gone through a spate of these. Both George Ure at his Urban Survival site, because he's sort of like our public service announcement point.
Yes.
He releases all of the free information we put out, earthquake warnings and major events that everybody's going to have to go through, but you could maybe benefit from knowing it was heading towards you. And he's gotten a few of the good response emails that said, and basically that, yeah, we were able to save our retirement because we got out of stocks and this kind of thing, based on warnings that we were able to give out. So it does have good karmic implications, and there are people that certainly can benefit from it. But when I think about the way in which the planet is set up and skewed at the moment, 6.8 billion people, 2.5 billion or thereabouts living on $2 or $3 a day, another 2 billion that are trying to exist on about $45 or $50 a day, you can see where I would certainly wish to discourage anybody in those kinds of categories, no matter where they are, from attempting to get our reports and use them in any way. It's just not pertinent to how they're living.
Certainly. Yeah.
But on the whole, I grant you, we've probably burned up a little bad karma with these, in the sense that some number of people have benefited, and we've been able to sort of skew the... I think of it in Aikido terms as I'm out there as the person who is going to be, if you will, the partner and do the throwing, the nage, and the universe is uke, the person that is going to be thrown. And the idea here is that we need to throw the social order such that when it rolls and stands back up again, it has a new appreciation for what's coming at us. We don't have to accept the changes as they are scripted from on high. We can alter our perception of them and alter our attitude towards them, and in that sense, alter the changes themselves. They're still going to come, but we can put our own flavor on them, if you will. And a lot of our work relates to doing just that, helping people put a new flavor on what's coming and saying, oh, I don't have to pay attention to this over the next 4 or 5 months because I know on the other side of it, it's relatively meaningless, that kind of thing.
Right. That's kind of what I was getting to with growing the underpinnings, because, well, I think most people will in time understand that we both affect and are affected by our environment. And that is a healthy way of looking at it. It made me think when I told you that you do offer this with that spoonful of sugar. On the other side of it, there is so much, I don't know, is it illusion? Well,